Hello and welcome to Dad and Sons, your number one news and weather video game emergency reporting podcast where not liking Final Fantasy 15 is considered just as big an emergency as 3 weeks of emergency flooding over a crowded island nation in Asia.
Woo-wee! Starting off strong today.
I'm George Weedman, and you just heard...
Matt Visual. We're introducing ourselves now.
And then we just heard who?
I'm Liam Edwards.
But who are the dads? Who are the sons? You decide!
Hold up, we're using our real names and not our fake names?
Matt Visual is your real name, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I had it changed. You're right.
For convenience, because it's more convenient having your YouTube name on your driver's license, your tax return, your cancer paperwork than your real name that your mama gave you. Everyone just calls me Bunny Hop these days anyway, so I could picture it. How's that working out for you, Matt?
Oh, beautifully. A lot of strange looks at the DMV, but it's all good.
MV, is that what everyone calls you these days? You like walk in the room and they're like, "Yo, MV."
Yeah. It doesn't roll off the tongue as much. So no.
How about you, Liam? You don't use a fake internet name, but I'm wondering if there might have been some embarrassing ones in the past, maybe some embarrassing ones from the present, perhaps, that you could go through life like slinging around people with on your legal work, your legal docs.
Not to the sense that you guys had. I guess like the only thing I can really draw from is like having like gamer tags back in the day. Like I think a lot of people made their
gamers.
YouTube channels based on their gamer tag names. Like when you find out like some big YouTubers now what their original YouTube channel name is or something is sometimes can be incredibly hilarious. I'm trying to think of one that stands out.
XXX Shadow Splooge
Sephiroth.
6969XXX.
I had two. One I remember was Steez on Toast. That was funny.
What the heck are Steez on Toasts?
So I think it was because I bought an Xbox 360 to play Skate, and Steez was like this slang word in skateboarding, and then it just sounded like cheese, so I called it Steez on Toast when I made a game attack.
So you don't have any like really embarrassing, cringy ones from like childhood that you thought were super cool at the time?
The one I went for ages was Button Mash Effect.
Yeah, that's your. You are still using that for some form of identity, are you not?
I think so, probably. Yeah, somewhere, some Steam accounts or emails somewhere. But that was like, I played a lot of fighting games and I enjoyed Mass Effect, so I was like, Button Mash Effect. Ah, genius.
Wow.
Whew. All right, visual, calm down.
When I was a child, I think I was in the 7th grade, Mom brought home the first like big Dell computer. I made my MSN account on our 56K dial-up, and my screen name was Riff Rough Dude.
That's pretty good compared to my dad made all our first email accounts. He just made like email accounts for all of us, and it was like back in the AOL days. And my dad, not being the most inventive man, just named everyone our name and then One the Great. So I'd be like Liam One the Great. My sister would be
so
Lauren
cute.
One the Great. It's just all of us named our name, then One the Great. And we had to live with that for all of the AOL days.
You all had dad names.
Yeah, truly, truly so.
Okay, so Matt Visual. Your name these days is Matt Visual, which sounds fine. But was it worse in the past?
When I played a lot of Xbox.
The home of bad screen names.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Well, no. It wasn't. I don't know. You tell me if it was bad. But what ended up happening is that I just wanted to get online and play Halo. So the game kept spitting me out. Well, not the game, but the console kept spitting out gamer tags to me. And they used my name, Matt. So one of them that I was like, okay, I'll go with that one was Watchful Matt. And then later on, I switched it to Watch Format.
He's behind you.
I don't know which one I'm more scared of.
And, it was like a constant joke, when you're botting people in Gears of War and, everyone's talking smack after the match and stuff like that. Oh, we're going to watch for Matt, huh? We're going to watch for Matt. And I'll go in there and I'll freaking destroy them.
Oh, sure you were.
God.
Yeah.
I like how tangentially you went from the word watch to the word visual.
That's not... I don't like how you connecting these dots.
I like how the subconscious works. I like how everything has an evolution, Matt.
This is getting creepy now. This is really getting...
One kind of Matt leads to another.
You could watch for Matt.
First I watch you.
No, it's...
And then I give you a visual.
You start watching out for Matt, but then slowly you start just watching Matt on YouTube, and then slowly he becomes a visual. A Matt visual.
I feel like Matt just accidentally admitted that he's a total voyeur.
Voyeur? Explain
voyeur. Well, I mean, you're going from being a watchful Matt who watches other people to someone you gotta watch out for, like he's violating your privacy by watching you so hard, so watch out for that Matt, to Matt visual. It's just completely consumed you. You don't even care anymore about whether or not other people are comfortable being watched. You're just all about those visuals. You're gonna get them no matter what.
Those public indecency guys, the guy who just goes out there in a trench coat with nothing on.
just wants to show it all off because he's been working out, right? That's how it works.
Yeah,
George,
have
you had to explain the Super Bunny Hop name before?
So many times, and the answer is real stupid. It's bunny hop. That's a thing you do in video games. Super. It's what video game things are called. The end.
Wow. That is a very, in sound, Super Bunny Hop doesn't sound like a very George Weidman thing, but then the explanation was the most George Weidman thing I've heard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the second laziest thing next to just calling it George Tube.
I wish it was called George Tube.
No.
Dad and Sons, a George Tube podcast.
Who's
the George?
So
Who's the
bad.
Tube?
People would change your name.
Really? How could it be any worse?
No, I think Super Bunny Hop works.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So, you guys play any video games? It hasn't been that long since the last podcast. In the interest of full transparency, we recorded Friday last week. Now it's Tuesday, so we've had 3 days to play video games, guys. How did you make use of your 3 days?
I finished FF7.
The whole shebang? 40-something
Yeah.
hours?
40 hours.
Oh, well, I guess that is shorter than JRPGs nowadays.
It's,
Oh,
okay.
no. Okay.
No. I remembered. All right. So I played a lot of this as a kid, right? And I never finished it. And I kind of know why now. You know?
Here it comes. Matt Visual, also known as the man who hates Final Fantasy.
No. It is not that bad. It's just there's a lot of filler, a lot of running around, around in this huge world trying to figure out these damn puzzles and talking to everyone. It's such a waste of time, and I can't fault an old game for the old ways.
You just described like 90% of JRPGs.
Yeah, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
You've got to be kidding me. I didn't have to do that in Ni no Kuni or what other game I played recently.
Well, not Ni no Kuni 2. Like
Final Fantasy 15, you didn't have to walk around doing all those hunting quests and walking around that giant world?
No, that's different. That's different than the main quest being buried under some riddle. Like, oh, where the sun don't shine. And then you just have to figure it out.
I kind of remember a little bit of that. I stumbled into a lot of optional stuff before continuing on with the main quest, I want to say midway through FF7.
Yeah, this is because, and I think that's why, is they have you go around and do all these side quests thinking it might be the main quest, and then it's not. It's like, oh no, this has nothing to do with the main quest. You're still on your journey to find out where this freaking place is.
When they're good, that should be fine. Like, I remember enjoying stumbling accidentally onto Vincent. I remember enjoying but not being able to beat the optional like giant weapon mecha boss fights. And then I think I remember wandering around for like a day and then getting back on track the next day. It wasn't that bad as I recall, but maybe it's bad when you're an adult and you're pressed for time.
Yeah, I think it's more because of that. I mean, as a kid, I probably wouldn't have cared at all because there's so much there.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's okay to just wander for a day.
Yeah, you can't really fault it right now, I guess. I don't know.
When you're an adult, you're like, I need to make 3 meals, poop twice, go to work, and go to bed on time with this day.
Yeah. And you're thinking about that as you wander around for 30 minutes. And you're just like,
oh, 30 minutes get so much longer the older you are, which is ironic because when you're not paying attention, those 30 minutes gets faster. But when you are, like, there's so much other more important things you can do in 30 minutes than optionals in a video game. And that sucks. I don't know how I feel about that.
And I didn't rush through the game. I got like their ultimate weapons. I got some of their limit breaks as well.
Yeah.
Before I fought the end battle.
Those are always, well, they were fun to watch as a kid. I remember them getting pretty annoying after a while, but complaints over skipping those long cutscene summon attack animations were something that's been there since day one. But JRPG pacing has been controversial for the longest time, since the days of FF7. Like, random battles was something people didn't like back then. Like, Chrono Trigger tried to fix that problem back in 96, I think, actually. And FF7 just came out the next year with random battles, and life went on. And then Skies of Arcadia comes out like 3-4 years later with random battles just like from 10 years ago, and no one seemed to want to drastically change them. And now JRPGs like have finally seemed to do away with them for good.
Yeah, and having monsters on the map instead.
There's still a lot of RNG and waiting going on.
Yeah.
And pointless side quests and lots of long downtime. And it's part of like the charm and the pacing. I just wonder if maybe the reason I haven't gotten hooked in a JRPG for a long time is because I'm an adult now and I have obligations.
Controversial.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and
guilty as charged.
The thing was that like near the end, like they split up the characters too, and then half your characters are not leveled, so they're all weak. And that's like, oh, am I gonna have to quit this and go back and level these guys? I'm like, oh, hell no. hell no. So I just threw as much as I could at Sephiroth so he can go to the next phase or something like that. My God. I gotta say, if I failed it the first time, because I beat him in one go, if I failed it, I think I might have put the game down for another couple of days. For sure. It was because it was such a long battle after that. And to have to get out and do random battles for, I don't know, just like walk around in circles, kind of like, oh, I'm trying to catch a Pokemon for like the next 2 hours or so, just trying to level up all these other characters. It might have been too much for me because I was already I was hitting the edge around where the end of the game was, because I wasn't there, because it's the game is good, but I mean the story is wonky as hell, but I enjoyed it. But there's that point, where I kind of got tired of, as you said, the random battles. Like they kept doing this even for through the 360 days too, and I'm not sure about after that, but 360 days with the last Odyssey and all that, they still had random battles. And I never, and it's such an old concept to me. Maybe someone likes that nostalgia, but I it wasn't so bad until you start doing it for a long period of time, I would say. But for Final Fantasy VII, the first disc was so good, like fantastic, that was the driving force for me to finish it and be okay with like its little, ode tricks.
Does that final boss fight still give people the tingles? Well, I guess. Does that final boss fight give you the tingles, the music, and the ridiculous attack animations?
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Right when you were talking about that, the music is great. There is this move that Sephiroth does in his second phase that takes freaking forever.
And what happens in the movie? What does he do to
he destroys Pluto. He destroys Venus. He destroys the sun multiple times.
Attack.
And then you get hit by that supernova. Like, what?
He destroys the solar system. And Cloud and Tifa and the dog or whoever, they're fine. They just like wipe off some of the dust and keep battling.
Oh my god.
And then they make a movie afterwards. And a bunch of spin-off games.
Oh my god. Yeah, I when I played this game, I was like, wow, Advent Children made no freaking sense. It made no sense, but it was really cool to look at as a kid. I watched it multiple times.
God, I remember when I saw that. I was also like really, really young. I want to say like 8th, 9th grade maybe. I had a friend with me who is, I want to say 3, maybe 4 years younger. We watched Advent Children together. And the younger kid, who I want to say was 11 or 12 at the time, finished up Advent Children. They shortly just finished playing up FF7 as well. And they thought Advent Children was the best movie ever. And I was just kind of like, wait, but I don't, what even happened?
Yeah. Wow. Like, it's like fan service or something.
It's
just what it is.
Totally like cashing in on seeing Cloud and friends do cool tricks for 90 minutes.
I mean, I will admit, like, that movie is absolute the horse shit for the most part. But the bit where Cloud flies down and attacks whatever that emo boy his name is.
Sephiroth?
What is
Squall?
No, the like the Cars. Cars? Is it Cars?
Ignis?
No, like in Advent Children, he attacks the guy who is protecting Mother. They all look like weird Sepiroth clones with cut hair. Is his name Cars? Maybe, I don't know. I forget his name. But then like he attacks him, and then it like explodes, and then all of a sudden Sephiroth is there instead, and like he sort of like, Masamune, like appears and materializes in front of him, and then from then until the moment Sephiroth goes, "I'll never be just a memory," and disappears after Cloud beats him. That is like still some epic fucking cool shit. Like that fight between Sephiroth and Cloud in Advent Children is awesome. Hands down awesome.
I think every single animation that Japan comes out with is pretty sick. Like they can't make anything that looks terrible. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could find something, but like
no, but
most
even
of the
like,
stuff they come out with is like fantastic.
Yeah,
but the story is always
bad, awful. But like, like the way that fight goes on and is staged, like the choreography of it is amazing. Like Cloud and Sephiroth like cut through a falling skyscraper, and like it gets torn in half, and you see all like the rooms inside of it and everything. It's fucking amazing. This was like 2005.
It's still weird to me that the Final Fantasy VII lore, I don't think, goes that far out of its way to characterize the main characters as superheroes, which is like kind of a video game problem. Like, Barrett's a guy with a gun duct taped on his hand. Other than that, how is he able to like survive all of these hits he's taking?
That's the thing I constantly think about. Like, when people are making these games, do they think about like what they like how the gameplay is supposed to mesh with like real life? Like how does a character die?
They get one bad hit in after their luck meter runs out.
See, and that's what I was thinking about when you mentioned the Drake thing. But it's I don't know. It kind of makes it a video game at that point, right? And I guess video games are supposed to be fun, I guess. But you can't really feel bad about something happening when people have been getting stabbed by monsters all the way through, and then all of a sudden one little sword from Sephiroth kills her. It's like, oh, okay.
No Phoenix Downs work either. After last week's podcast, I actually got a lot of messages from fans about how in the manuals of many RPG books, they actually will give the HP point value the description that it basically is the combination of your characters like fortitude, stamina, endurance, to make a combination of an effect where that HP meter is there to convert what would be lethal wounds or serious injuries into just scrapes, bruises, and grazes. Or scrapes, bruises, and grazes. And that kind of matches up with how Pillars of Eternity and AD&D would do it, where once your HP goes out, you suffer one serious injury and just can't take more than 3 per day until you rest up. Even though, like, visually speaking, your character is getting, like, shot and stabbed and
mortally wounded
over and over again to little to no consequence. Anyways.
So overall, Matt, you finished it. Like, would you recommend people play it even now?
I think, well, at the end of the game, they showed who worked on different sections. They don't do that anymore, but now they did it for Final Fantasy VII. And all those people who worked on like the snowboarding mini game and all that, they like put their names out there. My God, that's I wonder if they got shouts after that. Yeah, but overall, I think it's worth playing just because either if you had nostalgia and you want to see, what it's really like now as an adult and not as a kid, because as a kid, you just, romanticize so much.
You're more. You played it on PC, right?
You're more easily impressed as a kid because you hadn't played Metal Gear Solid 3 yet.
Oh my God. And and yeah, like for that reason, if you're a youngin listening to this and you never heard of Final Fantasy VII,
a youngin.
I don't know. You don't know. I don't know. Like, the first disc is great.
Oh, we all have fond memories of the first disc.
And if you want to go through that, because if they're used, like, the youngins, they're used to a certain type of game. They're used to the action combat. They're used to, like, a lot of up-to-date ways to play games. Going back to this is stuff you just don't realize that has been changed. Even though this was, I feel like ahead of its time a little bit. Like, it was really good. I just don't think that same quality holds up from disc 1 to disc 2 and disc 3. That same wow factor does not happen in disc 2 and disc 3. It just kind of gets a little weird. Not bad, just weird. If you want to play it just before the new remake comes out, which I don't know if it's going to be good.
You got a lot of time. You got a lot, take your time. You could start 2 years from now and you'd still have a lot of time.
Play disc 1 and quit. Be fine.
Are you going to move on to 8?
8, I remember, starts off really well and gets weird soon, too.
Yeah, I see, that's the thing. Like, I'm searching for that one game that I like all the way through. And
you've never found it.
Well, JRPG is what I mean. Like all the way through. Because it always, like, they always start off, they always give this heavy mystery and it's very intriguing, and then all of a sudden they just drop the freaking ball. They drop all of them. Multiple balls in their hand. They're juggling them, and it all falls on the floor.
Dangling them around.
And dangling the balls.
Spinning them a bit. Stirring them in their palm.
Yes, it's no. I would wish someone would just land it.
Well, I remember during the PSX era, the first 4 hours, even back in the SNES era beforehand, the first 4 hours of all the mainline Final Fantasies were fantastic sequences. Like FF6 begins with that beautiful, wistful intro of you marching through the snowy town with the Mode 7 3D. FF7 begins with this cinematic shot panning into the sky, down to the planet, down to the city, down to the train station, down to the individual fight scene, all in one smooth, beautiful shot. And in both in FF6 and FF7, you're running away from guards through these highly scripted, exciting escape sequences. And I don't think I remember the intro to FF9 that well, though. But I remember FF9 being lively and exciting and highly scripted and fun and eventful. They're
in a theater or something like that.
Yeah, how bawdy and romantic is that?
Yeah.
There's some real emotional core to those opening sequences. The does not quite by necessity last the whole 40-hour stretch, but I bet those are still really great fun to play through these days. And I would be sad if the kids don't play the first 10 hours of the essential Final Fantasies.
Yeah. What did you do that with? You did that with Sonic, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, that was just the first level.
They need to do a Sonic run. A Sonic run through all the Final Fantasies.
Right. And I almost wish it was more socially acceptable to just bow out of a game after 10 hours or so. But I've gone on that rant before. Because they peter out.
They do.
But they all begin so good.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, those are your final thoughts on the
final thoughts. If you played as a kid, if you have the time, play it. I wouldn't say it's necessary. Take your nostalgia and move right on to the remake if that's the fact. If you have time, if you're like me and you work full-time job, you don't have time. Yeah.
I guess I have to go back because I think I remember those first 10 hours being too good to give it a maybe. Anyways.
It's good. It's really good. It's fantastic. The first disc is fantastic, dude. Fantastic.
I know, and does that not increase the score at the end of the day enough?
Yeah, I mean, I say it's good. I say I enjoyed myself. I'm glad I played it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for everyone else, do they want to spend 40 hours for the first disc being really, really good? 40 hours. You're going to have to finish
different strokes for different folks, man.
The first disc is so good that you're going to want to finish it. And I don't know if it's gonna be all sunshine and rainbows. It's gonna be hard, especially if you're used to a certain quality of story. It's gonna drag you through the mud a little bit.
But not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning, though. At the beginning, everything is just great. Everything just works because you just don't know the mystery. And once they remove the curtain, you're like, oh, okay.
So would you say
how did Cloud what how
would you say that the experience is then divided between the first quarter and the other 3 quarters?
Oh yeah.
Would you say that there's a harsh division of quality from the beginning to the end?
Yes. It's they took all their budget and put it in the beginning of the game because that's what most people are going to play.
They might have done some mathematical operations, some addition, subtraction, and maybe some Tom Clancy's The Division.
Oh, I did not know that's what he was doing. Oh, damn
I it. And you walked right into it. You walked right into it.
Oh my God.
I've been playing this strategic disease management game. Tom Clancy's The Division is a medical emergency management simulator in which a epidemic of smallpox breaks out in New York City. It's evacuated as quarantine. Players have to quarantine survivors, research the virus, develop a vaccine, distribute it fairly and effectively. But who am I kidding? You just shoot people in the face. That's how you cure smallpox in Tom Clancy's The Division. And this is a concept of a game that's like really weirding me out. It's a division of a lot of really well executed genre archetypes, but smooshed together in a presentation and scenario and an interface that's really weird. So it's a third-person shooter like Borderlands or Destiny that wants you to make a lifestyle out of it, where every single day you're going to log on, shoot some bad guys with some friends, log off, increase the numbers of your player character, and it's presented as if it's this complicated RPG system when the beginning of the game that I'm working through now is an incredibly simple, streamlined, very, 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 very basic shooter with one of the most complicated and cumbersome interfaces I've ever seen, because they're trying to do that Dead Space thing where a lot of your HUD readouts are floating around on your character's body. There's a lot of gunk floating around on the interface. There's a overlay square that shows up right on your mouse cursor whenever you mouse over any coverable objects your character can sneak behind. When you pause the game, your character waves their hand in the air and activates the magic holographic pause menu that floats around in front of you and not everyone else. And navigating through that is... It's another one of those systems I've always had a really hard time wrapping my head around, where your character can carry not infinite, but almost infinite amounts of spare guns and ammo, and spray paint skin kits for those weapons take up no space at all, even though the guns and ammo do. At the same time, you're juggling around different kinds of resources and currencies that I haven't fully been able to implement yet. They just seem irrelevant right now at this part of the game. I still don't know if it's my jam. I gave it a shot last year. I played it by myself and decided that Diablo likes were still not my jam. I just have never really been able to handle the repetition and lack of immersion of that whole genre very well. This time I'm giving it a go with friends, and it is more fun with friends.
I was going to say, because you were talking to us about us giving it a try. You were randomly one day you were just like, hey, is anyone interested in playing The Division? It's like, why? Why now?
Yeah.
Because it was on sale, and I've got a few friends in the Bunny Hop Discord who have been playing it, and they really like it. They have been wanting me to give it another try, and I have been enjoying it better this time, but I still don't know if the hook is already there yet. We're just kind of pointing and clicking on bad guys. It's interesting how the core of the shooting, at least, was designed around being a 4-person co-op shooter, much like Left 4 Dead or like Vermintide. You have an enemy AI that focuses on flanking and tanking everyone's bullets way more than the usual first-person shooter bad guys. However, they don't do that Left 4 Dead thing where they can pin you down until another player rescues you. It still feels like you could solo your way through the game and not have fun because the enemies are going to be bullet sponges and or too basic of a challenge at that point. I think that's pretty much why I didn't enjoy it last time. But this time, there will be some moments we will have to concentrate fire towards one bad guy in the crowd in particular, and time up our power-ups, time up our respawns to keep people respawning and dying. We're playing on hard mode, so there's a lot of dying involved. And it's got occasional moments of team-based strategy like that don't really permeate through the whole experience, through a story and a setting that is just some kind of nonsensical nothing guff. So they escape from New York, Manhattan Island. They put a whole big fence around a quarantine zone on Manhattan Island, try to evacuate everyone. There's still some civilians left behind. Occasionally you'll walk up to a civilian and your little robot friend buddy will be scanning civilian in need. And it'll give you a button prompt to give them some water. And they'll be like, yeah, you're doing good work, Division Agent. And you'll walk a little bit forward, and there'll be a very similar character, just like wearing some street clothes, standing by a car. But their name will be Red. And their name won't be Civilian. Their name will be Looter. And even though they're just standing around minding their own business, that still gives you, like, the right to shoot and kill on sight and have your little video game gunfight. The game has the aesthetics and the visage of a post-apocalypse scenario, but not the language of one. Everyone kind of talks about how the government is, like, getting their shit together and just, like, having a surge of troops go to Manhattan to, basically shoot and kill all the looters and rioters who are taking advantage of the shitty social situation, and B, somehow cure smallpox? When I think... a smallpox outbreak is like a disaster scenario that a lot of medical emergency experts have worked their way through. But at the same time, isn't there a vaccine for that? Hasn't curing a smallpox epidemic in the United States of America been a problem that we have solved before? Furthermore, you have a radio announcer who compares the situation to 9/11. I mean, I don't know if it's too soon to be making that comparison, but there's this radio announcer who I feel is another great opportunity for wasted narrative potential. You listen to this podcast in the safe houses in the game, and the safe houses are like little coffee shops, storehouses, sometimes real hidden locations like a hideout in the sewers that will have signs on the street saying "shelter this away" written on like cardboard. They'll be redistributing some like weapons and food out of these old coffee shops using some weird like Bitcoin thing. I don't know. Your currency looks like it has the Bitcoin symbol. And there's a podcast announcer there. And you know, video game DJs are usually really ridiculous characters. Like when you're cruising down the streets in GTA listening to the radio, the DJ will be like flipping out about whatever social panic is causing trouble in the GTA world. They will be personalities, they will be clowns. Laszlo will be like arguing with his guests who are freaking out over magic killer bees. This podcast announcer in The Division says nothing that has a lot. There's like no humor to him. There's very little character to him. He's played surprisingly realistic, and I think I remember one of his lines was, "Man, this is so screwed up. After 9/11, us New Yorkers were working together and sticking together. Now we're murdering each other in the streets. What happened?" Well, it's a video game is what happened. But at the same time, he's also like highlighting the weirdness, the like, the ludonarrative dissonance of the magic circles, of immersive, interactive, systemic interaction fun times that make me a little sad that they had to slap Tom Clancy's name, give it a pseudo-realistic art style, and call it a day when they could have made this same game with way more fun aesthetics, and it would make way more sense for the kind of gameplay they want to be chasing after here.
Is it instance when you're playing PvE?
Okay, it's a little bit of a mix. You walk around an overworld map that is not instanced by a very small amount. It's like Dark Souls. You walk around an overworld map with other characters. It's the open world city map. Other players, that is, but the server isn't too very big. They load in, I want to say, between 10 and 30 players at a time. And you can walk up to a spot on that city where your mission will begin, much like GTA. Press a button to automatically search for other players to play the mission with you. Once the mission begins, you're not loaded into the new area so much as the non-instanced overworld map is kind of streamed out in the background. But if you do matchmake, they will straight loading screen teleport you into another player's game instance. But if not, it'll try to loading screen other players into your instance. So I want to say it's like a little bit of both. It's been done before. It's been done in this kind of style has. It does remind me a lot of the Dark Souls system. Not totally the same, but quite similar.
So no.
Not so far.
good?
I'm sure it would be more fun if I was playing it with people. This is one thing my friendos have told me. They've gone through the game before, and they said that I would have more fun if I was playing through it for the first time with someone else. But I'm still, like... When I played Siege, on the third match of Siege, like, I knew that I wanted to give this game some more. At the end of A Way Out, I was, like, hooked. I wanted to give it some more. I just don't know if I felt the hook with these 2 nights I gave it. 2 nights over the past... Since the last podcast, I gave The Division.
And just trailed off.
Man, it just, like, is... Everything you just said is, like, so unappealing to me.
Yeah.
Even
As a
though
game.
you really like your Monster Hunters.
Yeah, but, like...
It's a different kind of combat, but
There's
it's
an intensity to Monster
similar
Hunter. And
package.
that, you know, you opened... Yeah, but not really. You opened your opening statements about The Division as you just shoot people in the face.
And Monster Hunter,
And you know,
whack 'em.
doesn't really...
Whack 'em.
No, in Monster Hunter, you study these giant bosses that, you know, gradually get bigger and bigger or more smarter and cleverer, and you have to, like, figure shit out to, like, get your way around them, and you have to approach them all in different ways, whereas, you know, this
They're
is
still
just...
spongy, though. Like Monster Hunter enemies have way more HP than single-player game enemies.
Yeah, but it's completely different. It's like, it's requiring you to... approach each time you face a different monster to approach
I'm just being a semantic asshole about it. Like, I don't know if I'd go so far as completely different. Like, they're both multiplayer co-op lifestyle games meant to be replayed for a very, very long period. But they have completely different combat systems, I'll give you that.
The weapons are different, everything.
Not everything! Some of the menus are pretty cool.
Yes.
The concept
but
of...
like you're in like a boring ass town of New York, and here you're like going through forests and you know, finding where they are, and then you have like little enemies popping out.
Okay, the map...
world is drastically different from the 3DS game.
But I was just going to say, the map they made for The Division is actually really good, I feel. Like, this version of New York is gorgeous to look at. There's tons of detail everywhere, bells and whistles everywhere. It's a very, very, very impressive game so far as the little details are concerned. The whole thing just feels... A, confused, and B, like, not my jam anyway. And I do think I had more fun with Monster Hunter.
Even on the 3DS version?
Even on, I'm still excited for that PC version. August 9th, Monster Hunter World. We have submitted review code requests. Capcom, I will make a review for the first time in a long while for a game coming out ahead of launch schedule. I'll be one of those.
This is as close as it gets to us selling George out.
Yeah.
I'll probably take
Selling him out.
like
We're selling his name.
I feel like the sellout moment has happened a couple times. Anyways. What else we got?
Well, I would like to chime in with something that intrigued me.
Always lovely.
Not game related, but I watched Solo.
Solo, that old movie from forever ago that everyone's done talking about?
That only just came out in Japan.
Why the hell did they wait so long to release it in Japan?
Because Japan.
Okay.
Japan.
I...
So have you guys seen it?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Because we didn't talk about it, did we?
No, we did not. Because it didn't come out in Japan. We
were
chose
talk
not to do the spoiler cast.
Because it was late in Japan. Okay, so I mean, I'm intrigued to know what you thought, George, because...
What are we going to do with Matt here? Matt, do you care enough to have Solo spoiled?
I do care a bit.
Okay, we won't spoil it.
Okay,
But
so let's not spoil.
Matt, what is your general idea of the public perception of Solo?
A lot of people are hating it, but I don't know. Some people that I've talked to say like, oh, it wasn't that bad. It was fine.
That's kind of where I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't get it either. I don't get how people could really like seemingly despise it. Like, I don't understand.
Is this Star
Like, it's
Wars?
not.
I can see that. I just don't feel it myself.
I don't know how you can. Like, for me, that movie was like, forgetting all the Star Wars stuff that comes with it, but it's kind of like in a nice Star Warsy way. It's not. This doesn't seem to be like pressure on it like there was with The Last Jedi, and also Rogue One as well, because that is like tying in major
it was
parts.
a lot more lighthearted than the main.
It was a lot more lighthearted, and because of that,
it was spin-offy to a core, to a fault, to an extent. It was spin-offy.
Which means it got to do like stuff it just wanted to do without worry. And I don't understand, because for me, like that movie is not like a masterpiece or anything of close, but I had like fun from minute one to like the last few scenes.
Oh, really?
I thought it was really fun to watch.
Even during the really, really weird like airport checkpoint scene where they close the door but don't arrest the guys who are only arrest half the people who are breaking the rules because it's more dramatic that way.
It's a movie, dude. Like,
what about the part? Okay, Matt, this is a minor, very, very minor spoiler. I want to say 20 minutes in. It's a stupid line that I kind of scoffed at.
There are some stupid lines in this movie, yeah.
Han Solo, he has had trouble as a cadet pilot in the Imperial Navy, and he says something to the effect of, "Yeah, well, I got kicked out of the Imperial Navy for having too much of a mind of my own."
Yeah, that was kind of cheesy. But it's funny because I don't know whether it is the whole like everyone shitting all over it that lowered my expectations before going into it, which then it subverted my expectations to have fun. But also, like, when the trailers came out, I was officially not interested whatsoever. I thought the guy didn't look like Solo or whatever. He didn't seem like a good Han Solo. Forgetting all that, like, I thought he was a super fun character. Yeah. Like, he's not the disgruntled old man Solo, and I thought that's what he was going to turn into towards the end, but he never does. He just stays this sort of cheeky, like, driven dude, and he's a fun guy to like watch and listen to. Like, I liked him quite a lot. Obviously, like, Childish Gambino fucking knocks it out of the park as, like, Lando. He even has, like, the same vocal intonations.
Yeah, looks the same, acts the same. I felt like it was really fun seeing how this character doesn't look like Han Solo, but talked and acted like Han Solo. I felt like that kind of balanced it out a bit.
I don't know if he talked like him. He moved like him, like, quite a bit.
Yeah,
he moved like Harrison.
Keeps his hands
the way he shot,
hips.
like, his blaster and stuff like that. It was like, it's not that far removed from Han Solo. Like,
he's not speaks with a low gravelly drawl.
He's not as Han Solo as Childish Gambino is Lando, because like Donald Glover, Childish Gambino just knocks it out of the park as Lando. Like, he's fantastic. He's amazing.
That's the only reason why I want to watch the movie.
And it's worth watching just for that. He's really good in it. Like, I don't think he gets enough screen time, if I'm entirely honest. Like, I actually thought he was in it more going into it than he actually was when I watched it. But Han surprised me. And, like, the way they introduce Han and Chewie, how they met, and, like, the relationship that develops from there, and that was really good. And I kind of liked the story. Like, it was obviously a spin-off story, so it has, a definitive start, middle, end. It can't canonically go anywhere else because of things. And also, like, there's this sort of character reveal at the end that surprised me, that I'm surprised didn't get spoiled for me, which I'm intrigued.
Oh, no, I think I know what you're talking about, and I think I hated it.
Yeah, I was intrigued as to why.
Matt, you'll see, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
For anyone who's watched it,
go see it now to be disappointed with the same thing we're disappointed by.
Like, I was wondering why he was there. I was like,
there is a character who I thought we would never see again.
Oh, God. God.
And
there is a character who is, like, infamous for people not liking this character. Anyways, go on.
Okay, you definitely spoiled it now. Holy.
Yeah, George. George. And the thing is, right, fair enough. Like, That
quitting
movie
this
is so
podcast.
not.
But what about your
That
monthly
movie is so-
stipend?
God damn it, George! Shut up.
Okay, I'm over here now.
That's a testament to the movie not being very Star Wars like for the most part, because until he showed up at the end, I almost forgot it was a Star Wars movie. Like, Woody Harrelson's character is not very Star Wars like. Emilia Clarke's Star Wars character is not very Star Wars like either. Paul Bettany's kind of Star Wars like, I guess.
But the thing is,
Movie.
I don't know.
Honestly,
if,
Matt, you'll know what I mean. I didn't think it was very Star Warsy, and that was probably
He's the
it
Sith
worked in
Lord,
its
don't
favor.
you know? He's the Sith
I don't
Lord.
know if I got that feeling out of it because I'd spent so much time playing video games that like do Star Wars but as gritty crime dramas that it felt natural to me. 'Cause there wasn't a lightsaber in it. It was very much about a part of the Star Wars universe that I think they said the same exact line in the Red Letter Media review. This is a part of the Star Wars universe that is all over the extended universe, but not the main movies. And because of
it's got like droids, and it's got the Millennium Falcon in it. It's got
this is about the crime
Sabah.
syndicates.
All right,
And
I'm
a
gonna
lot of the
leave.
game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me when you're done.
Oh, now I feel bad.
George, the
now
infamous spoiler.
he's gone. He walked away. He walked out that door over there. He's all the way that way.
Matt,
Matt, we're gonna stop talking about Star Wars. Matt.
Okay. Hello.
So Star Wars Han Solo.
Oh my god.
I can see how some people wouldn't like it, but I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay.
I enjoyed it. I don't like. It's not the best fucking thing in the world, and it's by no means a great, fantastic movie. But as a movie that's watchable, I enjoyed it.
I was
Han's
far
interesting
more
to watch.
offended by episode 2. More so than all, and as an adult rewatching
this
episode 1.
movie is way better than any of the fucking prequel movies.
It might have been
This
the
is
worst,
fucking hands down.
like recent Star Wars, but Star Wars has been way worse before.
As in, anyone who tries to argue that any of the prequel movies are better than this is a fucking moron. Like, as a self-contained film that has a start, a middle, and
That
end
was
with
a Leo.
interesting characters, like that, it's way better than any of the prequels. And so is Rogue One, also.
So, what about video games? Or were you too busy escaping with your life from the floodwaters?
I played some video games, like I've been on that Switch kick where I'm just buying whatever comes out on Switch that week. And this week I bought a game called Bomb Chicken.
I am intrigued. Bomb chicken.
Bomb Chicken.
Not chicken bomber. Not bomb the chicken.
No.
Not
Bomb Chicken.
make a chicken bomb. Just bomb chicken.
Yeah, Bomb Chicken.
Bomb.
Bomb Chicken. Bomb.
Not bomb. Bomb.
Yeah, Bomb.
Bomba chicken.
That's
What's bomb chicken?
Bomb Chicken is a game made by a company called Nitrome. I don't really know, but it's a game. It's like a kind of like a puzzle platformer, I guess, where you're escaping some sort of place. You're like the one thing I will say like immediately is the game's very pretty. It has some very wonderful pixel art that's very nice. I've been trying to buy lots of pixel art games recently for my own personal study, and because I'm trying to do a lot of pixel art stuff at the moment. So this was another one of those, and the whole game is revolved around you're this chicken who basically any button you press will lay a bomb.
Oh, and you can stack them up.
Yeah, and you can stack the bombs on top of each other, and then they explode.
It's like a giant tower of bombs.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't jump, or you can only move left or right, bombs. And you just lay bombs, and you can stack bombs on top of each other to reach higher positions, or you can explode boxes. But your bombs do kill you, like if you stand next to them, or they explode underneath you. So you have to like lay them and then get off them. So you're always constantly moving in these tight spaces while slaying bombs. And basically you have to use the bombs to, solve puzzles and go through all these platforms. And the mechanic is really cool. Like, from a game design standpoint, like, it has one mechanic, and it does that one mechanic really well. You have to lay bombs to get around these things, and the stuff you can do with the bombs, like, you can push them, or you can, like, you can sort of move really quickly and lay them all out in like a wave pattern if you're moving fast enough. And you can stack them really high, almost infinitely if you can't hit a roof. So there's lots of interesting things you can do with the bombs. In terms of like the actual gameplay, it's like these short bite-sized levels that maybe take like 5 to 10 minutes. Like you'll die like quite a few times because it is quite challenging. But supposedly there's like 29 levels, and you just progressively go through them. Like you go from the opening door to the final door, and you go in between that, laying bombs and getting around all these things. You're kind of like, either I haven't been paying attention, or like the exposition, there is none at all. You're a bomb chicken. You just hatch. You hatch, and you're this bomb chicken. Like
you're
this
a bomb
blue,
chicken. Go do bomb chicken things.
This blue slime falls on your egg, and then all of a sudden that means you can lay bombs. I don't know why, but yeah. So you're moving through this factory, which is like half food factory, half fast food restaurant, half something chemical weapons plant. I don't know. And you're trying to progress through it. And in terms of like atmosphere and stuff, it's kind of boring. It's super boring. Like, there isn't much visual variety. Like, all the character models and the animations look really sweet, and the pixel art looks nice, but most of the time it's like, those like old Super Nintendo games where it was like all factories based, and it would just be like metal girders everywhere, and just like,
because that's really easy to tile.
Yeah, exactly. Like machinery type stuff. It's like that for most of the levels I've played so far, and I've played maybe about half of them. And the music is like, the music is like the type of music I really don't like in games. Like that plodding, not ominous, but very low. Like, I'm trying to think of like a way to describe it. Just like low, non-intrusive music.
How much does it cost?
It's like $10. It's pretty cheap. Like, I'm trying to find like a piece of the music.
Yeah, I just was looking up the developer Nitro, and I think we have like an interesting kind of Gen Y game developer career story going on here. It looks like they began making Flash games for free, moved on to making mobile games for pennies. Now they're doing a similar kind of style pixel art casual arcade challenge, but for $10 on consoles.
Yeah, like
they're moving on up.
They used to make
cool.
Flash games that looked really nice, and they did well doing that. But they've been around for like since 2005, like developing those Flash games. So obviously they have some experience in the Switch being like this easy thing for developers to develop for. It seems they've done it, and it looks really cool. But yeah, there are some things that it kind of makes me just want to turn it off. Like I'll play a few levels, and I'll be like, I'm kind of done now. Like. It has this one mechanic, and a lot of the levels can seem a little similar after a while because you're doing the same sort of rote.
Yeah, I'm looking at
laying bombs, moving.
It looks like a game that you play on the toilet, toilet games.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
I like it.
The Switch can do that unless you're George and you don't take your Switch to the toilet. But
he does.
Dude, guys, I think I'm converted at this point.
Yeah.
It's been like a year of me slowly bringing it in. And now I've kind of stopped thinking about it.
Yep, the poop particles are all over that Switch now.
But I still don't like thinking about them.
Get that black light, and you'll just see all these specks.
No,
come on, Matt. For fuck's sakes, don't. We had him. Now you've reverted him the other way.
Now you're just pooping.
He's never gonna play bomb chicken on the toilet now. Laying some bombs of his own.
I don't know.
Nice.
Laying some bombs with specks of bombs that go all over his Switch.
Oh, God. We went too
You
far.
started it.
Yep. We'll be
Cleaning off our switches.
after we finish this little bathroom break. God, it sucks that you're like saying it right before the break too. Like I'm gonna go to the bathroom now, and I'm gonna.
More than 200 animators and programmers. A multi-million-dollar production. Over 2 years in the making. And a cast of thousands. They said it couldn't be done in a major motion picture. They were right. Final Fantasy VII.
PlayStation.
Hello and welcome back to the Dad and Sons podcast, the only podcast where you're completely confused over whether or not these are dads or sons talking. That's something that we can capitalize on, I bet, somehow. Either way, we're going to be talking about some news now that we've done smearing poop particles all over our cell phones. Speaking of
Switches.
of three-dimensional objects being in places they shouldn't be made out of materials or smeared with materials that shouldn't be associated with those materials. Nintendo has hosted a Labo building competition, and the winners have made some like weird stuff. There's an accordion that uses little holes that sunlight filters in. You block the holes with your fingers, and that's how it knows what note you're playing. You use like
That is inventive.
boxes of tissue paper to squeeze the accordions while holding your finger over a note, and that elongates the note. Someone made a custom Toy-Con game called Tea Time that uses motion sensors to simulate a cup holding liquid fluids. There's a like little on-screen display they made where you can see like the imaginary water level decreasing from your cups as you tip these cardboard teacups over and you serve customers that demand specific flavors. And the guy made a totally specific game for it with a cute little like cutout overlay like the Magnavox Odyssey that he has cut into little T-shapes on the screen that he puts on top of the Switch. It's adorable. And someone also like went full circle and made an analog alarm clock out of the Toy-Con piano, where you stick the little not volume control, they're little knobs you can put into the Toy-Con piano that add filter effects. And he turned it into an alarm clock where you wind the knob to move the hands of the alarm clock. So it's an analog recreation using digital technology to recreate an analog technology. Yeah, either way, it's real cool. And I don't know, as a Labo boy from a few weeks ago, I was getting a kick scrolling down this list.
Wow.
I don't know if there's, much room for like comments or talk about this topic, but
They look cool. I guess that's it, really. They look cool.
In more controversial news, where there is room for a little bit of discussion, Rainbow Six Siege has employed a controversial language filter. Racial slurs immediately now result in an instant ban, which means removal from the match in the middle of the fight, which has opened the door for creative psychological warfare ban-baiting strats.
Oh my God.
I like that.
If you're
I
on
like
the ground and you're getting pinned by like Caviar and she's interrogating you with that like 2.5 second wind up, like in those 2.5 seconds, you have an opportunity to just start typing stuff that only Matt can type. And Matt'll still get kicked out.
God.
Yeah. So it's
Sure.
It's a pretty simple concept. The idea is you type in a word that has been used to turn human beings into products so people can sell them like cattle, and you get removed from the game. But they decided to include some deliberately misspelled variations, and also extra slurs that those of us might not be familiar with. For example, Liam, I don't know, like, is this one that I have on the outline as bad to say? Would this get me in as much Twitter trouble?
George, I can't read the outline. I think you'll have to tell me what it is.
No, but I don't want to. Just give me a yes or a no.
I can't see what you're referring to. Please.
I will copy and paste it into our Skype chat log.
Oh shit, Skype's not working.
You're the worst friend.
He's just written in capitals, yes or no. Yes or no. Yes, it is. It is a racist term for people from Pakistan or of Pakistan descent. If you're from Britain, you know exactly what I'm referring to. It's like the N-word that is used in America isn't used that often in the UK, if at all. But this word that begins with P, that is derogatory towards people from Pakistan.
Which I never even heard of.
It is like really common in the UK, unfortunately. So
yeah.
It's
a history of terrible racial relations with the Pakistani minorities in the States hasn't really been a thing over
It's basically
here.
just used to describe anyone who is Muslim or of Indian descent or Pakistani.
I assume is the problem with the slur itself. Like, it's getting the location and demograph wrong.
Yeah, exactly. You know, people who are Sikh or Muslim or, you know, from India or whatever. It's just, you know, it's that word to describe.
And my opinion on this
people
is
think.
Oh, sorry.
It's basically the word that idiots use when they don't know where people come from.
My opinion on this, like, weirdly mirrors my opinion on Solo. Like, I get why a lot of these kids might be mad about it. There's some arguments, though, that I think are just stupid. Like, apparently, replacing the G's in the N-word with the B's is supposed to make it okay. When it's basically, come on, it's you wanting to avoid the filter, and everyone knows it. Using those misplaced, like, deliberate misspellings, though, opens the door for typos. And also, like, just contextual confusion and very deliberate psychological warfare band-baiting tactics, which is hilarious. And the penalty at the same time also doesn't seem that severe. You just get kicked for 30 minutes for your first offense, 2 hours for the second. On the third, they're going to do an account investigation, and that one they'll know if it's all just a big misunderstanding or not. One can assume, hopefully. But there's also another weird aspect to it in that it kicks you out of the single-player content as well.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Man, those racists get what's coming to them.
I get how this could make people mad. I get how there's areas for mistakes, how it opens the door for mistakes and false positives. But at the same time, I see the problem as being severe enough to, like, have to employ some stupid for the greater good, which sucks. And, I don't care that much, though, because my group of people are probably never going to have a problem with this thing.
Oh, really? Huh.
When I play Siege, and the people that I play Siege with, I don't think we're going to run into many problems with the Rainbow Tom Clancy's slur filter. I play with people everywhere.
Well, and that's the thing is, if one of your friends is like, can you guys just wait for 30 minutes? Like, oh, hey, yeah, what's wrong? Yeah, I'm just cooking, you know.
Whoops.
Yeah, I'm not banned.
I misspelled my country of origin.
Yeah.
I missed 5 letters off.
Whoops. I accidentally misspelled, what's a word that rhymes?
Wonder, like, we have, I don't know if you have, we have an English, like, slang for the word liar.
For the word what?
It's called, we have an English slang in England for a liar. We call someone a liar. We can call them a fibber.
Yeah.
Do you have
I've
that
heard
in
the
America?
word fibbing. Fibbing is a synonym for lying
fibbing,
in American English.
So someone who is fibbing is a fibber. So, like, I wonder if you typed fibber.
Woo!
Imagine if you're like, you're such a fibber. That's a little rough.
This is the thing, though. Now, if like my team's not doing so well, I can just like start, typing in some things. Like, what is an English slang for lying, and maybe get them to test it out instead of me.
Like I found as well, like in America, is spastic okay?
I think
Like someone being a
spastic
spaz?
has yet. I'm sure there are many people affected by very serious mental conditions who don't appreciate that, but I have yet to see it blow
UK,
up.
like in the UK, you don't say that. Like you don't use that word.
Huh.
Like spaz or spastic is two words you just don't use.
Huh. Yeah, because like when I think of that word, I weirdly think of a Newgrounds artist. Anyways, yeah, I don't think of what the meaner implications, so I don't think that that's quite a bad in the U.S. as of the moment. But don't quote me on that. I'm no expert. I just look at what gets people mad on Twitter. Speaking of screwing around with multiplayer games, did you guys see that Splatoon please give this game anti-cheat hack?
Yes.
Where
that was great.
Let's see. Yeah, as of yet, I believe pseudonymous player who has posted their testimony on Reddit has claimed to hack their X-Power score at the end of Splatoon matches to be the number one player on the leaderboard enough to spell out across the leaderboard, please add anti-cheat. This guy made a Reddit post begging Nintendo to add anti-cheat. He said, do whatever, ban me from the console. I don't care, just add anti-cheat. So Nintendo proceeded to ban him from his consoles and not do anything else as of official announcement.
Wow.
So for like one day earlier this week, players were able to see the Splatoon 2 leaderboards just read, please add anti-cheat. And do you guys own Splatoon 2? Have you guys been playing it at all?
I don't play it anymore at the moment, but I did play it last year.
Did you remember having any problems with cheaters?
No, not then. I think this is a fairly new thing.
Because I want to be getting into it. I want to buy it soon, maybe next month. And
You should play it for the Octo expansion. That is good.
I'd hate to get hit by a bunch of cheaters, though.
Not in the single player, though. It's mostly ranked, so if you just play like casual mode stuff, you're not going to get hit by cheating. And if you play like this is like high level stuff. I don't think you'd realistically experience it, playing just quite casually.
If ranked is anything as hard as Siege ranked is, then I'm probably never going to touch it.
Well, depends. If you're playing this side of the world and you're playing with Japanese people, holy Jesus Christ.
Are Japanese children bad or good at video games?
They're very, very good.
Ah, yes, thought so.
They're very good.
I wonder if God, it'll be weird in the future if that changes. Maybe we'll be alive to see it. Anyways, you guys want to move on to Dad Den?
I think it's about time.
I blitzed us through the news because we got a lot of Dad Den.
Oh boy.
So Dad Den is a new, highly anticipated segment in which we are going to rate our listeners' game pitches. If you have a really cool video game idea, if you have a really bad video game idea, if you just want to hear us, do a bunch of sarcastic bullshit, then send us a pitch to dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. We are going to want your imaginary game's name, its gameplay concept or main mechanic. We're going to want to know about its art style. We're going to want to know some themes it's going to tackle, both in gameplay and story. And last but not least, we want to know how long and for how much money you think it'll take to develop this video game. We want a budget of time and money. And we have a lot of submissions. People are having a lot of fun with this concept. But first off, for this week, we're going to start out with Pablo Escobar, the man himself, the guy.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
he's lost a lot of money and now he wants to make it.
Well, didn't he escape again? I don't know. Pablo Escobar escaped from the prison of some probably horribly corrupt South American country to make video games instead of... He's gone clean. No more drugs, just video games. With drug money, I guess. But now
Right.
Pablo Escobar is going to sell regular products that don't... Well, getting people addicted to and ruining their lives, I guess.
And he picked our
Video
podcast.
games, right. Pablo Escobar showed up here live on studio. Hello, Pablo.
Hello.
So Pablo Escobar has a game named Lion's Den.
Lion's Den.
Yes, the name of the show that has influenced this segment, Dad's Den, is now getting riffed by Pablo Escobar.
Don't challenge him.
No, he might not like our verdicts unless we give him the verdict he likes.
No.
Are the lions from his own private zoo that he has?
So Lion's Den, are you guys ready for the pitch?
Okay.
Lion's Den is
It's a long fucking pitch.
it's a
All
third
of them
person.
are long. All of
It's
them. All of them are
What?
stories.
Why do people not listen?
So let's go to it. Lion's Den is a third-person co-op stealth game set in Eastern Europe in the mid-'80s, mostly in Soviet satellite states. You play as smugglers who are basically glorified gun runners. You bribe, cheat, and murder your way from West Germany to the heart of Russia with the help of 3 other friends. Your job is to resupply a small terrorist cell who are planning to take over a large oil refinery in the most isolated part of the Soviet Union. The world will show the brutal life of those living in the late Soviet Union. I guess the idea. Okay,
Wait,
we're murdering people?
continue.
the main feature
continue.
of the game is the play. Well, that's just video games. Is the player interaction in AI. Mid '80s USSR was tight on security, to say the least. Getting through it is not going to be easy, and a silver tog alone won't get you through most checkpoints. I should point out that the English submitted in this pitch has a couple typos. I'm going to assume.
We're not here. We're not here to criticize spelling.
Yeah,
mistakes.
based on the foreign setting and language, I'm
God.
assuming it might be
Don't
someone
insult
who.
the viewers.
I'm not insulting. This might be someone who might maybe been there. Maybe
Make
someone
all-
who grew
put
up
all
in the
the
brutal
typos, guys,
security
in-
state.
Put all the typos.
You have many items to ease you through the dystopian hell of the USSR. You and your pals will need uniforms, intelligence, keys, maps, cars, trucks, and shady men in dark alleys. Things will go wrong, always. Soviet authorities will do everything they can to stop you. I have a question.
And
So
you're
it
gonna murder
sounds
them.
like.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a.
It's just their job.
Division / Hitman
Ooh,
type game.
With a specific emphasis on like crossing borders illegally, which could
I
be
like
interesting.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a papers,
Sounds like
please,
Metal
from
Gear
the other
Solid 3.
side.
A bit of Metal Gear Solid 3 thrown in there for good measure.
No,
they said that-
it's
that-
the other Metal Gear, the one that sucks. The one for PSP.
5.
PSP.
Metal Gear Acid.
Wait, what? Peace Walker?
Peace
Portable
Walker,
Ops?
that's-
Get the fuck out of here. That game's good, man.
what?
Just don't play it on PSP.
I think-
Wait,
don't play it on
what?
PSP.
Did you just say it's good?
Yeah, play the Xbox 360 version. It's good.
People, there's a lot of
my
Peace Walker
God.
fans. I don't know if
I
I'm
don't
one of them.
know
but
you.
there's-
I don't
there's-
know
They're
you.
out there. Guy, that's a different historical Cold War themed stealth game.
So we've established already that there is more than one Cold War era stealth game.
However, they don't mention exactly what genre. And I'm picturing third-person stealth action based on the description. And I like how he points out that you're going to need uniform. I like how Pablo Escobar points out that you need uniforms, intelligence, keys, maps, cars, trucks, and shady men in dark alleys. On that
This is
list
all
are not
stuff you don't know
guns.
about.
What's that?
All stuff that Pablo Escobar would know.
Yes. But they do not, even though they say that murder will happen, they don't market this as like violence being your primary interaction.
What? He doesn't just say that. He says murder your way from West Germany to the heart of Russia.
But there's other activities too, and I like that. I'm so freaking ready for
remember the
video
game-
games to get away from hyper violence as like the
Do you
primary
remember the
interactive
game The
mechanic.
Saboteur?
Yeah. Death to
It sounds
Spies.
like-
This is giving me a Death to Spies vibe too.
It sounds a bit like The Saboteur.
A co-op Death to Spies. A co-op Hitman could work in this setting, I think. I just want to know why you want to supply
I like the setting.
a terrorist organization. Maybe they're like separatists who want to break apart from the Soviet Union. Like, wasn't that an 80s thing?
who live in a large oil refinery.
And they just want to live there by themselves. Seize the means of production.
That sounds like...
In the grand, Soviet tradition, they're just following their Bolshevik roots, I guess.
No, it sounds like another terrorist cell. Outer Heaven. Metal Gear Solid 5.
Well, I mean, the idea behind that was to be like a neutral party in the Cold War. It seems like these guys want to separate and be like...
You mean do what Big Boss does anyway?
Do what many new, oftentimes short-lived nations at the turn of the 80s to 90s did.
Okay, so we know what we're going to be doing. What's the rest of the pitch? Let's
art style.
Let's seal the deal here. Maybe.
The game will have a very grim art style with a heavy brutalist interpretation. Since you are traveling across almost half the USSR, you get to see the unique Soviet architecture. So, squares!
So in terms of like what he's missed, which is a vital part of the pitch, I think, for a game like this, is you're going to be traveling across half of the USSR. How? Is this an open world game? You're traveling across giant, vast points of this. Like, how are you playing this game? Are we literally crossing borders? Can we roam open spaces up to a border, and then we have to sneak into we have to approach each border and plan it all out, and then that's how we do it?
I have in my head is like each level represents a kind of checkpoint, like the West Germany to East Germany checkpoint. Then you got the East Germany to Poland checkpoint, and let's see what.
See, these are two very different games. Then one is like a very structured, level-driven. Their goal is to get through the checkpoint thing, whereas the other one is like. He says you have to use uniforms and intelligence and keys. Like, you could be gathering all this stuff in one area in this big open space, kind of like Metal Gear Solid 5, and then you could have a plan of attack. Like, you can, then you can approach the border in different ways.
Oh.
Like, you could choose to go over through uniforms and sneak your way in through, pretending to be, like, USSR soldiers or something, or you could, murder your way through the border in a Bolshevik-esque revolution.
And it looks like with the way they had the maps set up, you'd be crossing, depending on your route, Moldova, Belarus, Latvia, Estonia. There's a lot of little cultural touches they could research into and make little historical pieces out of. I like it.
This is some stuff, but this is some stuff missing from his pitch. This is stuff we're adding. Remember, our job is not to add. We did this in the first one. We're not here to add. We're here to point out what you missed and why we might not take the pitch because of it.
Well, so, why wouldn't you take the pitch? Not enough paths, Liam? Not enough paths? Cardboard boxes, maybe?
No, because we've immediately made the game better. Because he lacks something.
Yeah, a genre. A genre seems pretty important, because I could imagine this playing out from an overhead perspective, a third-person perspective, a first-person perspective.
But that's like any game ever.
Yeah. But the setting, I kind of like the...
He says third-person co-op, so I doubt...
Third-person co-op.
It's going to be some sort of Metal Gear-esque stealth game, isn't it?
And that's why... Okay, before we get to our verdicts, let's talk about themes. Themes include brutalism, totalitarianism, surveillance states, isolation, political corruption, and the Cold War. I have no complaints.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's move
examine
on.
the surveillance state of the modern world through the lens of the surveillance state of the previous world. There's so many places you can go with this.
Yeah, so let's get on to the budget.
We're on a AA budget. Good. They specified how many A's, and I feel like the amount of A's is a very, very important qualifier.
So what does this mean? Is this like Eurojank AA?
It sounds like
budget?
A Eurojank AA game.
Okay, so then he says an expected 5 to 6 years of development time with an expected launch on PC and possibly next-gen consoles.
And that's a long
So if he's aiming for
time.
5 to 6 years, that is a long bloody time.
That's a lot of bills to pay.
And also,
with no product on shelf.
With that kind of development time, you should be looking at a giant open world map in which you can cross half of fucking Russia. That is a long time.
So I feel like I really like the premise, but I want to hear more about the specifics of the third-person camera and level design. And I think the 5 to 6 years is going to be too long for a game like this. I love the premise, though. I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, Cold War history, social stealth. That is, this is I think what has me so hooked. As the Papers, Please guy totally rightfully identified, you can gamify just go into the airport and crossing over into a new border, and that's what they're doing here. I I like it. I love the idea of turning regular, ordinary, peaceful interactions into high-stakes, high-tension video game fluff. So that's where I am. What about you guys?
Matt, do you want to go first?
No, not really. It's just I'm not into it. I'm not into it. I feel like I have enough of these types of games already. I do like the border crossing thing, but like I don't know, like political corruption in the Cold War. I don't know, man. I'm just so tired of this.
You don't like real life?
Yeah, it's not. There's more to life than just this.
Than bureaucracy and paperwork and trying to sneak around it?
Oh my god. You're so boring.
When you were born, you get a piece of paperwork saying where and when and how you're born that you need for like your SAT tests 20 years later.
Okay.
There's that. That's like crazy to me. Anyways.
Okay. I kind of agree with Matt. We have a lot of this shit already. We have a lot of Cold War. We have a lot of specifically Cold War based video games. A lot. You know, we have a lot of stuff steeped in that kind of style. Luckily for this guy, I'm a sucker for that kind of shit usually. And this border crossing thing does have me intrigued, but he doesn't go into enough detail about how we're going to do that. Like, crossing the border, like fighting your way across, is kind of super boring.
Really?
You know, but fighting your way across the border, like it's just a
fighting
level. Like
maybe,
you cross,
but like sneaking and
you cross from
lying
one part
your
of the
way.
stage to the other. Yeah, no. So if with all the things we added, like it's an open, sort of a pseudo open world game where you plan a way of getting across the border, and it's up to you to decide how you do it. You gather intelligence, maybe you steal uniforms, you take out a couple of guards, take the uniforms, dress over, and you try and convince your way, a la Papers, Please, across the border. That would be super intriguing. Not many games give you that kind of freedom, right? Mm-hmm. But with 5 to 6 years of development, and I know you like your realism in the political things, but like there is enough oppressive politicalness right now that I wouldn't be
that's why I like
too
it.
interested. I wouldn't be too interested in.
But what about 5-6 years
it.
from now? Because that's another thing
Well,
you got to consider.
5
Video games are oftentimes behind the pulse of pop culture.
If we're still if we're still in this weird political oppression and political discourse as we are right now in 5 to 6 years, then I will have given up even further. So.
Yeah. I want to escape from that.
I won't want to play it then. But I like the idea. Like, but we've had to, in terms of like the pitch, like we had to push it along to make it a little more interesting. So I'm gonna say I'm out.
All right, we have another one. I got another one for you guys. Fight or Fall, a Zazie the Beast game.
That is submitted by.
Zazie
Are you guys ready for this absolutely...
No, wait.
Yeah.
This is called Fight or Fall, a Zazie the Beast game, submitted by...
Zazie the Beast. A Zazie the Beast submission.
He's going straight up Kojima on this shit.
I love it. All right, are you guys ready for this fucking insane story pitch?
Every pitch is just Metal Gear, isn't it? It's just Metal Gear.
No.
Next week,
are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes, please do. Every time is just gonna be some variation of Metal Gear. Oh, I want Metal Gear to be this.
Let me set the tone.
Okay.
Boom, boom. The year is 1945, and Hitler is in rough shape. In the Third Reich's darkest moment, a beam of light shines upon him. They discover the secret to atomic weaponry. With nothing to lose, the Axis sends hundreds of bombs to the Americas, the United Kingdom, and the USSR. Liberty dies. But there is hope. A missile sent to the USSR is derailed off course and lands in a Swedish volcano, causing a premature eruption. The resultant lava flow thaws out an ancient glacier containing your party, the Northern Berserkers, a group of fibrous Vikings hell-bent on reclaiming their homeland from the Nazis.
Okay, I'm in.
The gameplay concept just has they just put in quotes, fight or fall in all capital letters. And then they go on to explain a post-nuclear Viking rebellion FPS/strategy game with combat being a combination of Rainbow Six 3, Doom 2016, Fallout 3, and Brutal Legend. The game's unique gameplay hook is a fully fleshed out modern interpretation of real-time combat with pervasive pauses in which one is able to issue combat commands to all members of the party. One will have full first-person control over their main character but may pause the game and shift into other party members to select target areas to move or enemies to attack. Mass Effect maybe. Specific shots can also be lined up. Specific
Dragon's
shots can be lined up, allowing one to set up a slew of critical shots before resuming the game, initiating a single second of fatal hits. The system combines the accuracy and complete control afforded by VATS with the team commands of Rainbow Six 3, and I'm also guessing the super fast kills and fragile characters, the raw metal thrills of Brutal Legend, because I guess Vikings and Nazis, and allows the brutal first-person gunplay of Doom, because I guess it's going to be done with more of a heavy metal theme from that first-person perspective.
Let's continue.
Themes. Vengeance/Swedish history/unreliable historic machinery / heavy metal / male fantasy.
Oh, God.
Oh, my fucking God. I love how unapologetic it is, though. This is kind of cute. Are you guys fucking ready for the budget?
Yeah, I'm ready. Lay it on me.
Budget. The budget is 20 million.
Whew.
20 million what? 20 million George bucks. A Kickstarter is planned with stretch goals of
Kickstarter of 20 million
is planned with stretch goals of officially licensing songs from the Swedish band Sabaton and having Willem Dafoe voice Hitler for the final battle.
Only for the final battle. That's how it's going to be.
The graphics will be similar to Kingdom Come Deliverance. The graphics will be similar to Kingdom Come Deliverance, though more buff, with muscular models and a stylized color scheme, mostly emphasizing red.
Oh my God.
Dude, guys.
Rock on, dude.
Fuck yeah. How do you guys... That's my answer.
See, okay, so George is in. Matt, what about you?
No, you go ahead, Liam.
Okay, so first of all, I love the fucking story. I love the story. This kind of batshit crazy, Brutal Legend-esque story about Vikings coming out of a frozen volcano because of a bomb that the Nazis sent. I'm in. Although, I'm in. I don't like the fact that they're Vikings, so I assume they're fighting with axes, and then when I think of first-person axe-based combat, I think of Skyrim, and then I'm out, because Skyrim's combat is dog shit. So, I'm like, unless we can change it to a third-person, kind of like God of War.
Remember that you're pausing and playing with, fast kills.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
I like that.
I like the idea. George, shut up. Just shut up. You'll have your turn. I like the idea of being able to pause and, controlling the other 3 Vikings or whatever. If there's 4 Vikings, you control the other Vikings and tell them what to do, like Mass Effect or Dragon's Age. That sounds cool. But then having, the VATS, maybe where you can throw the axe at different body parts and snaps back at you like God of War, that would be great. But I don't like it being in first person. I don't want it in first person.
You want to see those Viking muscles?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. If you're going to have Vikings and a male fantasy, you want to see those freaking packs.
You want to fantasize about those males.
You want to see that nice, tight butt,
Also, melee combat is shit in first person, so...
Right, but I'm fucking loving the idea of a, asymmetrical XCOM game where you're playing pause and play melee tactics against an overwhelming enemy that has guns. The asymmetricality of that would be fun.
Yeah, no, I think it would be fun. I think that would be really cool, but change, if it's going to be melee-based combat as well,
I think the first person might be something, yeah. The more you mention it, the more that seems like a...
Change it.
Something that should require thought.
Change it to just change it to third person.
He's probably thinking the Vikings are going to, grab a gun, like a couple hours into the game.
The Doom comparison
No, they're
comes
gonna
up.
be like muscular beef dudes who only use axes, like true Vikings. They don't need guns. Guns are for Nazis.
I do find it hard to picture a Viking with a like horny helmet without a shirt on, with ripping muscles, like holding a 9mm.
a gun. Yeah, no, it's gotta be like it's gotta be like a melee-based game where they just use the axes, like these mystical axes that have been thawed out of the volcano with them.
No, they like blend the melee with the gun. So he picks up a machine gun and he starts duct taping it to the.
But
and you watch it in first person.
Matt, what thoughts do you have? Do you have a verdict? Because I have a fun fact.
Wait, we haven't talked about the 20 million Kickstarter.
20 million something. I mean, that currency could be adjusted to 20 million yen. All of a sudden, it's not such a big number.
Let's assume it's $20 million.
If it's Swedish crowns, it'll be like not as big as it sounds either. Let's see, Swedish crown conversions. Matt, do you have any verdicts while I look this stuff up? 20, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's
I mean, execution, but like if it's as goofy as he's making it out to be,
I love it.
Then I would like it.
Yeah,
I would like it.
I'm starting to think it's kind of like Wolfenstein goofy.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I'm thinking of.
That's what I'm thinking.
Nazi
which
exploitation.
Is like, I'm in for that.
And also, if you do decide to pitch a budget of 20 million in Swedish crowns, that's about 2.2 million in USD. You could do like 2D short-lasting game with that, I bet. But it sounds like that's not what you want to do.
2D.
Mm-hmm. Also, I have a fun fact relating to their choice of music, which makes me think that this might be a terrifyingly well thought out submission. The band Sabaton, the Swedish band Sabaton, actually has lyrics that draws from themes from World Wars I and II, and they've actually been commissioned by Paradox Studio to write music with like themes of fighting Nazis before. According to Wikipedia, on June 6, 2016, the 72nd anniversary of D-Day, Sabaton released a music pack for the Paradox game Hearts of Iron 4 with songs based on World War II, the theme of the game. And then they released a second album on January 26, 2017.
The Fight and Fall title doesn't work with the game unless there's something that I'm missing.
Fight or Fall could be improved.
Or like it's, I don't know, like maybe the Nazis have taken over the whole world and the only thing left is the Vikings.
I like there being an alternate history where, the Nazis are on the back foot and then all of a sudden they have atomic weaponry before the US and they blow everyone up, and then they somehow cause this cataclysmic event at a volcano that does bring forth the Vikings.
Which is,
I like that.
Which is Wolfenstein without the volcano and the that's what I love about it. It's like taking Wolfenstein and somehow making it even more like fun, absurd.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
we're taking these submissions too seriously. We need to crap on them more. Okay,
but this one was so
Dude,
good.
It's 20. He wants 20 million for a Kickstarter.
20 million what though? 20 million
nowhere.
cheese crackers?
I'm assuming it's dollars. Like, he sounds like he's from Sweden, but I'm assuming it's dollars.
So
I'm assuming it's dollars.
Thank you so much, Zazzy the Beast.
Change it to third person, and it's the first game I'm in for.
That was really fun to imagine, which is so cute about this new segment. And with that, we're going to wrap up. Once again, next week we are going to be doing emails. So once again, that email address is dadandsonspodcast@gmail.com. Send us weird questions. Next week we'll do more dad dins and go through your submissions, talking about some news, share some stories about surviving floods and getting poop on your phone.
I do want to say, super big thank you to everyone. After last week's episode, everyone messaging me and putting comments in YouTube, and also people messaging me on Twitter asking if I was safe and if I was okay. Thank you very much. It means a lot that we can get past the online anonymity and people just being very genuinely nice people asking if I was okay and everything was all right. So, yeah, thank you very much, my fellow dads and sons. I really appreciate it.
So just remember, no matter how bad things get, your dads and sons will always be there claiming it's at least okay.
It's fine. Just play the Switch during a flood. It's that A-okay.
That's pretty terrible advice.
Shut up.